My name is Brandon Lilly, and strength has really been one of the defining factors of my life. From competition stages at the highest level to small gyms around the world that people have never even heard of, I've always been in pursuit of strength and the lessons that it's taught me. I've stacked wins, I've had major setbacks and injury, but through it all, I've learned everything my way and seemingly the hard way. So now I'm hitting the road again, walking into weight rooms around the country, talking to coaches, hearing the stories. No rules, no script, just coaches in their element. What's up, guys? I am headed over to Heathwood Hall. This is a small Episcopal high school just outside of Columbia, South Carolina, and 900 students, give or take, K through 12. We've got a Sorinex room over here. The two strength coaches there are phenomenal, Vinny and Josh. They actually came as a tandem from Mater Dei out in California. And if you know anything about high school athletics, they are just a dominant powerhouse in every single sport. So to come with that kind of background, as well as, beyond that, to come here as a tandem and try to implement that same standard at this school is a really, really cool thing to see. And they have a great room. They have great thought behind it. So we're going to go visit them at the school, probably get some lunch, and see what we get into. Absolutely beautiful day here. You can tell this place is special. I mean, it's in the middle of some pretty incredible ground. The facilities are amazing. Got some kids over here pitching. I don't know if they got practice in the middle of the day or what, but this is a pretty impressive start. So to kind of give you a first impression, this room is awesome. When you can see the layout of this thing, runs deep. You got racks down both sides of the walls here. Just the attention to detail is amazing. Got the turf, got the logo. Everything about it's awesome. So it's like, when you're looking at this room, what is this the culmination of? Like, what did you guys set out to design when you were looking at this room as an empty space?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously shotgun style room. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things where we wanted to provide the most training opportunities per square foot for all the kids here.
Right.
And that was one of those where it was kind of like get an idea, hash it out, get another idea, hash it out. And the guys at Sorinex were great about this. They ended up lining the room, apex racks. Ended up taking advantage of the fact that it's a rectangle, not a square like most weight rooms.
Right.
But yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like most training solutions per square foot, and that's what Sorinex is the best in the country at. So we kind of had a general idea and then went over there and hashed it out, and they took the reins and ended up with this.
So when you were at Mater Dei and like coming into this program, you guys came like big leap of faith, right? Mm-hmm. But getting this behind you, like, what did you want to, encapsulate from that mindset and that standard there, bringing it here?
Well, this was the reason. I mean, a lot of schools talk about doing a big-time project in athletics. Mm-hmm. Very few schools actually pull the trigger and do it.
Right.
And so here's a school that historically very good academically, which I think is actually the more difficult thing to be for a school, is to be good academically, wanting to be better athletically, and they put their money where their mouth was by investing in a company like Sorinex and putting the best possible solution for their athletes to prepare them to compete on the field.
So what's been your biggest culture shock here from California?
He's not from California.
I'm not from California, luckily. I'm from the Northeast, and then we lived in Midwest and Texas, so I've gotten to experience everywhere. I think the biggest culture shock for me is going from 75 and sunny every day to you have ice and then you have 106 degrees in the summertime.
How's the humidity affect you, Josh?
I grew up summers in northern Minnesota, so
okay.
It's not the end of the world. Honestly, I expected worse in the summer than it was. But people are just more friendly here.
Yeah.
People say hello at a different way, and it's just different in that regard.
We got to talk about your biggest transition to South Carolina and fully accepting not being in California anymore. You have a Beefeater truck now, so.
Oh, this is gas. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't transition.
I thought he
to
was in the
diesel
diesel.
lifestyle.
He hasn't gotten diesel yet. No, you
No.
sit up front. You sit up front.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
How many strength coaches do you think live and die on Chipotle?
A lot.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
All of them. This is in honor of
all of them. Chipotle so quick.
And it's like, you still feel like you're eating something relatively healthy.
It is relatively
Oh, dude, I could go get a McChicken for all I care.
What kind of standard would you like to see set for your kids? Is it district championships, regional championships, state championships? And they play in their own division, right? The private school?
Yeah, so we're in SCISA 4A, which is like the highest division for the private league. We were really lucky that we had a pretty quick turnaround. Like, you know, we were just talking about this with our athletic director, Bree, not even an hour ago. Like, we were saying, when was the last time that we had football and basketball play for a state championship in the same year for boys? And we had no idea. Like, it's been forever. I think the hard piece is being such a good academic school, which they have that taken care of. And then I think you can put the right tools in place and have the right plan to become a good athletic school too. I think right now it's measured as like, you know, I think everybody wants to be competitive, but like end goal is you'd love to run table, right, in the whole conference. We kind of had the first year turnaround, and then like year two, this year, we had the success, and I think now the kids finally got to see what that looked like. Yeah. And it's like over the next 2 years, getting everyone to buy into it, which helps having the little kids around the middle schoolers around the upper schoolers. But I think if you just instill that culture of like, you know, like win, you know, I think that's the end goal, right? In 5 years to be able to sit there and like, you've got both pieces taken care of, and no matter what the sport is, you're competitive, you know.
I think a lot of coaches would probably frown on the, you know, at least like 5 to 12 athletes being in the same room, or it would feel like some sort of burden, because I think you guys can understand this from modern day or even the collegiate level. Your time is so important and specialized and really refined down to it has to happen within certain windows. With this, you can kind of build these kids over really a decade almost. So is this a secret benefit, or kind of like a forgotten benefit of having these kids for this long?
I definitely think so. And Josh and I work together at Modern Day, so like we already know our coaching styles, and we already have our whole set system, and like, you know, we have additional coaches here that help out. So I think the biggest piece is like, as much of a difficulty as it is, because you're right, like what you're going to need for the 5th grade kids is so different from the 8th grade kids, which is so different from our 10th graders, which is so different from our seniors that are playing in college, right? Like Coach Josh works with all the middle school athletes. We have our set system, we have our set routine, like it's all age appropriate, and it's pretty much just like teaching them the fundamental movement patterns that we just introduce later. Right. Like I said, we don't do anything crazy complex, you know, we just do the simple stuff very well. Earlier, the culture standpoint, like we have kids, we laughed about this, but like we have 5th and 6th grade kids now that like we don't even need to tell them to clean up. Like they know everything goes, and they'll pick 2 kids and they'll go walk the room, and they'll walk everything, make sure it's straight. Pick and choose your battles. Like as much of a burden as it can be from a supervision standpoint, there's a lot of benefits to it too, right? We have the room for it. We have the coaching staff that can divvy it up and support it. And then, you know, we have the kids that are here from when they're as young as 2, right, Josh? They could be here from when they're 2 all the way through senior year. So all these kids, like,
they get comfortable.
Yeah, very, very comfortable.
You know, these 5th graders look at these 12th graders like they're gods. I mean, they look up to them like nobody's business. And on the flip side, our seniors do a great job of remembering when they were 5th graders, looking up to those seniors and being that example. Because, I mean, yeah, we want to be competitive every year. We want to put kids in college. We want to, you know, compete at the highest level year in and year out. But when it comes down to it, the goal is, you know, produce great humans. They understand what it takes to take a bigger goal and break it down to smaller goals. They understand that I can outwork anyone else over time, even if you have more talent or ability than me. And being able to put that into place and seeing these kids come up through that system, and then with that comes success on the field, because, you know, it's built on the, I mean, sports like basketball you play year-round, there's some sports you play year-round, there's other sports like football where, you know, 90% of the time is actually preparation. So, you know, they learn to prepare for sports, and then sports becomes a microcosm for the rest of life for a lot of these kids. So that way, when they go do what they're going to do out there in the world, that they are properly prepared to get prepared to be successful at whatever they're going to do.
You guys in this, I guess, community, do you see a lot of children with home problems and difficulties in that light? Because I know that's a very public school matter, but in this smaller kind of, you got less than 1,000 students here. Is that a reality for the student life here?
Yeah, you definitely get some students where like the hardest part of their day is when they leave campus, right? Like, and that's the good thing about what we have here, and like the good thing about how much time we get with these kids is like, aside from a coach, like the athlete-coach relationship goes far, but then here it's like an additional layer, right? Like you're almost with them so much, you care for them so much, and they understand that. So with having that, you know, you get to know them deeper, you get to know their whole ins and outs of their lives, which is great, you know. I think that we're fortunate where we have a lot of kids that are super respectful, that even if they have a lot of baggage outside, it never makes its way inside of the walls here, right? They're, you know, they rely on their friends, they got a huge support system here, and, you know, it's funny, you see so much nowadays where there's so many disciplinary problems, and it's so tough with coaches and kids, but, you know, here it's kind of like, in a way, almost stuck in time, right? Like the kids are so respectful, and they care so much about each other and their friendships that you don't really get too much, you know, that's kind of like haywire here. It's all pretty even keeled.
That's awesome. All right, guys, that is episode 1. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Big thanks to Vinny and Josh at Heathwood Hall for having me out, for showing me the Sornex room, how they implement it, sharing their philosophy, the way that they work with their athletes, just the turnaround that they've had in the short time, what they're doing from 5th grade to 12th grade. Really, really inspiring stuff. So if you have a school that you can think of that would be great for me to check out, list it below, leave us a comment. If you have any questions for the coaches as far as their philosophy, how they work with kids, or how they implement Sornex equipment, leave us a comment. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Talk to you soon. Be legendary.